Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start off by saying thank you for joining today's webinar on Café One in GD Edwards. I'm Anish and I will be your host for the day. Let us see how we can unlock the powers of Café One, a very great feature in 9.2 GD Edwards. The agenda for today's webinar is, what is Café One? It's a beautiful feature, so I'll explain what exactly Café One means and how we can use this feature in 9.2. I will go ahead and see how to unlock its power and the value of Café One in 9.2. I'll also show a few examples for better understanding, so we'll be able to get a good grip on this particular feature. And we'll hold a Q&A section at the end of this presentation, so you can just ask if there's anything. Before we go ahead, let me remind everyone that you can participate in this webinar. You can go to the control panel and you can see a chat box right down there. You can type your questions and hit submit. I will be happy to address as much as I could during this Q&A section of the presentation. As we start, I want to tell you a little bit about Cyret Technologies. In collaboration with Oracle for more than 20 years, Cyret has been helping global customers to enhance their ERP ecosystem. We are an award-winning Oracle Select partner, have profound experience on Oracle technologies and expertise in GD Edwards space. As I said, we hold more than 20 years of experience and have delivered 150 plus projects, manufacturing, energy and utilities. We have won 7 major Oracle awards and have implemented more than 100 plus ERP solutions. Have 200 plus experts and have registered 1000 plus man years of experience. So this is a bit about Cyret Technologies. So let's start off by talking about what Café One is. Café One, it stands for Common Application Framework for Enterprise One. This particular feature is a very new feature and it's a very handy one because it helps us in combining multiple event forms or applications. Using a single application, what we can do is we can bring another application next to it and use multiple applications at the same time. It's just not limited to applications. We can even use websites, and not just one website. We can use multiple websites like Google Maps or any other website that we really want to have on the application that we're using. As this is a personalized display or completely personalized feature for us, and we don't really need any third-party software. It's very helpful in improving our business productivity. So at the end of the day, when one wants to, save time and go ahead and make something great out of this particular feature, it really helps in improving our time and productivity. The value of Café One is very large. As we can access multiple applications at the same time, it's easy to access information. We don't really have to get into one application and then another and see the information that we want to see. So instead, just having the same applications next to each other, it's easy access to information. This requires no new modifications, so anybody can use it. It combines functionality of software solutions. So basically, as we are combining many applications, the solution aspects of this particular feature are greatly improved of a particular business. It does not require any coding. So any person with no coding background can use this. We don't really have to train people to, start coding and see how we can, or what we can do. So this is really a very great feature. So Café One use cases, when I'll be talking about this, I'll be showing you a few examples of sales order to item availability. The other example would be purchase order to currency rates. In the first example, let me talk about this in brief. If I'm trying to sell a particular item from my industry, from my company, let's say from a particular branch plant, and I'm not really sure how much items do I have in my inventory, I'm going to have to go and see the application of item availability and check the availability of it for the particular item by entering the application individually. Instead, what I can do is, while entering the sales order, I'll just bring this application next to it and I will enter the items which I'm trying to sell, and also I'll cross-check how much of it is there in my inventory. So it really helps me, and I don't really have to navigate a lot to find how much inventory I have left. The second one is about purchase order to currency rates. In this particular use case, let's say I'm trying to buy something, or let's say I'm trying to sell something from my company to a company or to a country, for a country from country other than ours. So I'm gonna have to need, I'll be needing exchange rates. I'll be needing rates of the current currency. If I'm trying to export a particular item from India to, let's say, Middle East, I'll have to see the today's currency rates. Or if I'm trying to import something, I'll have to see how much is the money Indian rupee in accordance with the country that I'm trying to buy it from. So this is one of the examples I'll be able to show you well properly in the system. So let me go ahead. So this is a main page of Oracle JD Edwards 9.2. Now we'll go ahead with the first example from sales order to item availability. But before this, we need a few details that we have to jot down. Let's visit the application of item availability, which is P41202. And once we get into this application, you can see an icon over here which talks about question mark. Select about, and you will see the application number, the version, the details that we need. So just jot it down. For example, in this particular application, I need the application number, that is P41202. I need the version as well. So after writing it down, what I will do is I'll just get into the sales order application. So enterprise one menu, order management, sales order management, sales order processing, and sales order detail. So this is the sales order application. The fastpath for this is P4210, and I use the navigation right now to get here. So let's say I'm trying to sell a particular item to a particular person. So I'm trying to sell it from one of the branch plans that already have been existing in my data. So that's, let's say, M30. I'm selling it to, say, 55159. It's an ABC big box store. And let's say I'm trying to sell an item that the number for it is 220. I want to sell two items. So this is what my bosses have asked me to sell. So let's say I want to see the number of items of 220 I have in my inventory. So instead of visiting this item availability application individually, entering the details, and then again changing the screens in between, what I'll do is I'll get the application right here itself. So what we have to do for that is click on this particular box we see at the right hand side of the screen. Click on edit form layout. Once we do this, a small screen will pop up at the top of the screen, and you can select this option which talks about create new content. Select on enterprise, click on this enterprise one form, and you'll be able to drag and drop anywhere as you please. So at the top screen, at the bottom of the screen, or at the right. So for me, the right side of the screen is very much handy, and I'm comfortable with it. So here I bring it. So now, as I said, we need the application number. So the application number for item availability is P41202. And I want to see the number of items I have. So I'll select item availability. You can see the name, the description. You can enter it as you please. The description can be as anything you want it to be. And there are a few other informations as well. So there are two types of link. The one is static link and dynamic link. I'll be able to show you the difference between these two once I show what dynamic link means. So let's go with dynamic link first. You can see a few options are coming right here. So they are item short, number item, item number short, the business unit, address number. So right now, I'm just going to find the items available for the branch plan M30 for item number 220, right? So let's select this business unit. It is mapped to, you have to select this particular option is mapped to, and then click on this plus option here at branch plan, not business unit. So after this, I'll be selecting item number is mapped to this. So now what this is doing is This will auto-populate the information. Once I click on this save button, you can see now the total number of items for 220 and branch plan M30 are 6,081. So items at primary location are 2,777, at secondary location they are 2,000, and at other locations they are 15, 20, and 65. Overall, they are 6,081. I'm just selling 2 items, so I don't really have to worry about the stock that I have left in my inventory. So this is how it helps this particular application. Now I'll show you what static link means. Let's go again here. Click on Enterprise One form. Let's drag it to the right side of the screen. Enter the application details and the form as well, which is work with item availability. After that, static link. Once you select on static link, you'll see an error because there's no item number or no branch plan that's been getting mapped. So I have to enter the information individually. It's item number 220, then branch plan M30. You can just search and you'll find the same information. So dynamic link, what it does is it just auto-populates the information, and in the static link, you have to enter the information on your own. So this is how this particular application works. You can use this application at many levels. For example, if you're trying to track a particular item from your inventory, what you can do is you can link your Google Maps to any application that you want. That's one of the examples. The other example is you can see the exchange rates, which I'll be showing you in a while. The other example is if you're trying to trade, you can see the trade market right now, which is available at the current moment. So basically, we can use it anywhere as you want, and we don't really have any coding, so it's easy again. Now, let's say for the same item number, I want to export this particular item from one country to other country, from let's say from this India to another country. So click on this. You can see an option URL. Just drag and drop anywhere as you please, and keep it on the right side. So you just have to paste the link. I've already pasted this link over here in this particular box. You can name it anything. I'm going to name it as exchange rates. You have to click on this verify URL button. Once you click on this, you can see this particular information is getting populated here. Once this is done, what you can do is you can click on save. And here we get this information. It will take a few seconds to load. Here it is. So now let's say I'm trying to sell something from India. So I'll enter this Indian rupee and euro. Once I select convert, I saw this says 79.38. 1 euro is equal to 79.3 rupees. So basically while I'm trying to export item number 220 to an European country, and I don't know the current rates that I'll be selling it at, what I can do is instead of visiting Google, trying to find the information, I just brought it over here on this screen, and I'm now seeing the rates. So this has helped me a lot in saving my time and effectively improving my business productivity. Similarly, one can track maps over here by the same method that I showed you right now, the same technique. You can use any application. You can use multiple applications at once, not just 2 applications. So this is one of the best features that helps a person in understanding his business needs. And that's why this Café One has a great use in 9.2. So that's one of the things of Café One. These were 2 examples. Now let's have a Q&A section, and I'll be happy to address any questions that are pertinent with this session. You can type your questions in the chat box and you can hit the enter. I'll be able to answer your questions. I can see a few questions. I'll address them. All right. Okay, so how many application screens can be used at once? I can see this question. We can use multiple applications at once. We can use three, four, five. I've used five applications because what happens after that is the screen gets really small and it's not really feasible to use more applications than that. So I'll go with five if one needs them. We don't really need that many applications at once, but it's five. I can see another question. Yes, the change can be affected globally, but we can set it according to our priorities as well. If we don't want other people to see the changes, we can set it to a particular ID and only that person will be able to access it. Hi. Yes, we do not need to deploy this. We need to use the 9.2 version. And once we use that, as I said, you have to click on the option that is on the right side of the screen and open the application. We don't really have to deploy or use any third-party softwares for this. Yes, the difference between static link and dynamic link is dynamic link will auto-populate the information. Once we select those options which were there, so it auto-populates information. In static link, what we have to do is we have to enter the information individually, the item number, the branch plant, and then select on the search option. Once we do that, the information will be available there. Hi. Yes, there's a search option in the branch plant. What we can do is we can search the branch plants that we are needed. There are multiple branch plants in the system, right? So once we search them, we'll be able to select one of it that we need, and accordingly we have to enter the item number or any other details pertaining to that particular application, and we can then find the information that's relevant to us. Waiting for more questions. Please type your questions if you have any. I am sorry we're not able to answer all the questions. There are many of them. Can you tell me another example where we can use Café One? Yes. Like I said, we can link Google Maps, and it depends from the user's perspective. What kind of applications does he want there? So for me, at the top of my mind, as I said, we can link Google Maps. We can see the exchange rates. We can currency rates. We can see the current market. So these were the few examples. And other examples could be based on the user's perspective. Yes, we need to have the application number and version handy all the time. Usually, when we start using JD, what happens is we are usually well known to all the application numbers and version. But for a person who doesn't use this regularly, he needs to have this information handy so that he'll not get confused once he has to enter this information. So it's really handy to have the application number and version. Yes, end users might not always know the application number or table number. Like I said, they just have to visit that particular application if they need, and they just have to jot down the information. Once they do that, it really is a very easy process after that. All right. I'm sorry we're not able to answer all the questions. There are still plenty of them, but we'll be happy to get back to you once the session is over. So please feel free to reach out to us and have a great day ahead. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Thanks a lot once again.